I'm out. Starting another blog. Another successful repair. Now we headed tomorrow. Last stop. Been a full day for me. Here. Here. Excuse me, y'all. Woo. All that dust. Rita. It's gonna be 914. This guy's name is Frederick. Frederick what? Frederick, your last name is Coleman. All right, guys, let's go to Morrow, Georgia. How about that? First thing we're gonna talk to my boy and back him up some. FBI caught one of the head dogs of what they call MS-13. They got caught, one of the major players. So let's catch up with Ben and see what he has to say about that.
Moving in the United States illegally and operating as a leader of MS-13. And then two, MS-13 has been a huge problem in Virginia for several years now. How many users are paying?
You have a message.
Yeah.
The bottom line is for far too long. And because of operational security, we won't get into too many of the details about this individual. But if you're here for a minute, a day, a month, or a year, you've been here far too long. And General Bondi has made it a priority at this FBI that we manhunt every single person committing an act of violent crime.
And it should speak volumes that the leader for the entire East Coast was living right here in Virginia.
Right among us.
Question.
Let that sink in. The leader for the entire East Coast for MS-13 was living right outside the Beltway. Christopher Wray didn't have to look too far. Merrick Garland, he was right there in your backyard. You guys just didn't want to know anything about it. How did that happen? How does that happen? How do they not know what's going on in their own backyard? Well, I'm going to ask Kyle that in a second, because you tell me how these people were able to operate. It's not a small operation. Everything they do, from drugs to trafficking to everything else, these people are operating, and they were doing it right outside the Beltway.
Did you want to Governor wants to add something?
I just want to reiterate that, first of all, President Trump's executive order declaring the drug gangs and cartels international terrorists is critical underpinning to the work today. Second of all, the collaboration now that's available because we have a 287G memorandum in place is critical. And it allows us then to bring the intelligence together.
I'm hoping that Kyle can explain to us what a 287G memo is, so we understand what he just said. Kyle, I'm going to come to you in a second, but if you want to put that down in your notes, what the heck is a 287G memo?
To go pursue and arrest someone like this. And I just want to reiterate again, this is new. And the capabilities that are being displayed right now are capabilities that are now available, not just to Virginia, but to the rest of the country, because of the administration's forward-leaning vision on how to use state and federal resources in collaboration in a way that has not been done. I have to say, Terry Cole has been leading our efforts in the Commonwealth brilliantly. But until we were able to bring in the federal resources in this way, bringing down somebody like this would not really have been possible.
Hey, Kyle, can you hear me? You got your mic on?
I do indeed. How you doing, my friend?
Good, man. Just a lot of stuff happening today, and I'm like, we need someone who can talk about this craziness that's going on, from this big bust today and whatever a 287G is, and the whole Signal Gate stuff and Crossfire Hurricane. I'm like, okay, it's out of my expertise. I got to bring somebody in who knows what the hell is going on. So, first and foremost, thanks for coming on, and secondly, how big of a deal is this bust? Is it just something for PR, or is it really a big deal?
I think it's probably PR, but
okay.
At the end of the day, moving the FBI's image towards a criminal investigative organization that's actually going to go after criminals is a big deal, in so much as it shows that they care about that. So, is it a standalone, like, we're dismantling MS-13 in the United States? Not really. I don't think it's the case. Look, MS-13 is out there. I used to be on surveillances, watching MS guys all the time. There's scumbags all over the place in DC. There's a place called Casa de Maryland where they basically run the entire show. It's a apartment complex and kind of a little neighborhood where we used to see counter surveillance set up. And I mean, the worst example of this, Barry, I was sitting in a parking lot. There's a church that's just outside the area. We're sitting there. We've got a source that's about to go in. The source has a wire, what we call a body wire, so recording and so on. And this person was going to go pay what's called a controlled extortion payment. Mm-hmm. So MS would regularly extort people who are illegals as well, by the way. This is the liberal argument, the leftist argument against illegal immigration, is that you bring in a captive victim population. So you'd get this person who doesn't speak English, who doesn't have access to American law enforcement, who doesn't have legal status in the country, who needs to be deported on, and I think Trump is right on all that. But you bring them in, and then they just become victims of people that look like them, sound like them, but are ruthless criminals. And so we'd be sitting there working with a source, trying to get them ready to go do this extortion payment. And then you just hear this like pop, pop, pop. Pop, 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 pop. And you go, oh my God, like the first 2 gunshots, you go, I don't know. The 11th time, all the people that are working with us, local partners and FBI and other federal agencies, you're like, crap, we got to go do something about this. So you jock up, you jump into your car, your body armor's on, you go rolling in hot into this neighborhood. Everybody's looking like nothing happened. Everybody's ignoring it. It's all quiet. And what you realize is somebody's husband or somebody's boyfriend or somebody's son just got shot in a stairwell somewhere, and they go dump the body, and we won't find it for a couple of years. So it's a truly evil group of people doing this stuff. So focusing on that instead of going after, let's say, Catholics in Richmond, Virginia that happen to like the Latin Mass, going after pro-lifers who are praying outside of an abortion clinic. Like, this is a big deal that you're actually going to say, hey, there's criminal aliens. They are gang members. They do really bad things. They extort women. They're involved in trafficking and so on and so forth. They're moving drugs that kill people. Like, let's be serious as a law enforcement agency that goes after murderers and real violent crime in this country. So is this individual, my buddy and I were laughing. He goes, oh, it's all staged. And, yeah, that's part of the deal. It is a PR op. Okay. And they got a 24-year-old guy, and they're like, he's the most senior guy in MS-13. Here's the funny thing. We had guys that we went after that were in their 20s that were MS-13 members. And their nickname was Abuelo. Because by the time you're in your 20s, you're like an old guy at MS-13. A lot of the foot soldiers are in their teens. They're 14, 15, 16 years old. So by the time you're 10 years older than that, you know, you're the old man on campus. In the same way when I went through Air Force Basic, I'm 27 years old, and they called me grandpa in basic training because half the guys there are 17 or 18, you know, and you got a decade of life on them. That seems like a long time if you're a teenager. So in and of itself, is it an important thing? No, I think the spin and the optics are good. And as far as that 287G program you mentioned, people can Google it, but it's a
cancel.
Delineate the ICE authorities to additional federal and state resources, so you can get these certain things. Everybody has certain authorities that they get by their federal agency. When you're an FBI agent, you usually work under Title 18 and Title 21. Those are the drug statutes and most of the criminal statutes. A lot of the authorities that exist, as I understand it, for ICE fall under different titles, like Title 8. So they have some different immigration type specific authorities, and they can delineate those off to state and locals. It's kind of like deputization, as I understand it, the 287G program. It says that they have a thing called the jail enforcement model. I'm just reading from a little kind of like piece I have on my screen here. Let me just pull it up so I can kind of just tell you guys. But it makes sense. I mean, you bring people in for the different authorities you have. You cross-deputize folks. They've got a task force model, which means they're going to bring on other federal agencies. Every federal agency has different authorities and abilities to work. Again, drugs, gangs, RICO statutes, people that specialize in white collar and so on. So you can bring in your FBI, you can bring in your DEA, you can bring in your ATF if there's guns involved and that kind of stuff. And then they have warrant service program, which allows them to train people who regularly are, as I understand it, doing administrative warrants for probation violations and so on. So you can go look for the bad guys. And all of that is a bigger, broader program called ERO, which is Enforcement and Removal Operations. Okay. And that's what the Trump administration has basically told us they're going to do. And then you're seeing evidence they're actually doing it. So that's good. We want that.
So the follow-up question to that is, why wasn't it being done before? Why did Biden and Christopher Wray kind of look the other way? It seems.
It's a question of priorities. It is the executive's discretion to see what it is that they think is important. But when you're not prioritizing things that we would normally think are national security issues, like bringing in illegal aliens that traffic in drugs and guns and people and so on, that seems problematic. So do they have that discretion? They do. We're not arguing against it. It's just when you're being soft on certain targets versus others, I think you're right. I think it's a question of what was the Biden administration's prerogative, what were they not doing, and then what were they doing? Like I said, we know that they were investigating people who were Christians. We know that they were trying to purge the FBI specifically, and I'm an example of that, of folks who were Christian that had pro-life inklings. We saw them going after FACE Act violations. It's actually so one-sided. The FACE Act is a great example. Do you guys talk about that very often?
Not at all. That's why I was going to talk about it with Steve Friend, but you're here, so let's go.
Sure. So the FACE Act is the free access to clinic entrances. It's a statute that basically allows for violent protesters in front of abortion clinics to be arrested. It also has a secondary piece of it that says if you're going to block access to a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a house of worship, they can go after you for that as well. The problem is it's about 98% of the prosecutions have been against Christians who have been protesting peacefully, singing hymns, and maybe they were in the way of a door when they were sitting down on the ground. The thing that we're told that the left can do in front of a Tesla dealership. If you happen to do that in front of an abortion clinic, you might find yourself in federal prison. And there's a great number of examples that happened under Biden's administration, and some of them we highlighted in the movie Police State, which Steve Friend and I were both a part of and worked with Dinesh D'Souza on. So this is the issue. When you start choosing your prosecutions, you start choosing the outcomes as well. And then the other piece was, and we saw this, I had whistleblowers come to me and they used my access to Congress to go do this. They showed that the Biden administration was being soft on Chinese counterintelligence claims. So prosecutable cases, in this case out of Texas, where they knew they could actually get somebody both arrested, they could indict them, and they could probably convict them based on the evidence they had. And they said, we'd like to go forward and stop some of this Chinese infiltration of the United States, these people that are stealing technologies, that are stealing intellectual property rights and so on, and they're violating America's sort of sanctity and the safeguarding of our technologies and all of our national defense stuff. And the Biden administration was like, nah, that's not our priority. We're not interested in going after the Chinese. And to be fair, it's very rare that you actually have a prosecutable counterintelligence case. So to skip it is crazy. And that's something that I know happened in the last couple of years. About the last 3 years, that's been an issue as well. So it is a priorities thing. Just we're on a better track, but
So this type of guy, like this MS-13 guy, and whatever people they get from the Venezuelan gang. One of the things that someone had asked me, why deport them? Because if they get deported, who knows, they may just get back into their cartels and be roaming around again. Is this something we should be basically prosecuting here or sending them to Gitmo, or should we just deport them and hope they won't come back?
I think that's a priorities thing as well. The question is what are you going to tie your resources on? If you're going to go through a full prosecution, it's probably a lot easier to revoke. If they're not allowed to be here legally, you've got a much faster path to export them somewhere else, and it gets the problem out. We got a lot of problems in this country. There's a lot of people that are involved in criminal activity. There's a lot of people that are gang members. There's a ton of people that are here illegally to the point where it measures in the millions. So do you want to spend your resources? Do you want to have your federal prosecutors sitting there and going through endless amounts of discovery, and the fact that you're going to have these lawfare groups that are going to tie up the your resources on the DOJ side doing the prosecutions, or do you want to go for the fastest out and get the most wins? I think that's just a priorities discussion that they must have had. They said, hey, let's get as many people out as we can. And the sad thing is this: let's say you do a great prosecution of these people, and it happens. They go to jail. By the way, there's nothing more satisfying than seeing an MS-13 gang member who has threatened people, who has been very physically violent, that pulls out a machete on somebody and has been taking money from little old ladies. And literally, that's the thing they do. And then you see them for the first time in a federal courtroom where the judge is reading in English and Spanish the possibility of life without, any parole in U.S. federal prisons. And the reality of it saying like, oh, this is not county. This is not some local cop who's going to be a pushover. This is the federal agencies doing the real thing. That's good. But do you want to spend all that time and energy? Because the minute you knock that guy down, and we saw this every time, there's unlimited numbers of low-level bad guys, unlimited numbers of them. So if you spend all your time and you lock this guy up and he's a 16 or an 18-year-old, muscle for MS-13 or TDA or whatever else, someone's going to fill that spot tomorrow. We'd have extortion cases, and they would just swap out the predication, swap out the name, and the exact same operation would resume the minute we swoop somebody up. They would stop for the rest of the day, they'd regroup, and the next day they were doing the same thing again. So if you can get more people out more quickly, if that's the calculus that the Trump administration did, and I imagine they did, they were just like, look, this problem doesn't end until everybody's out. Let's try to bail water out of the boat faster than it could sneak in, kind of thing, and shut down the border and move them out. Great. That seems like a smart move to me.
Other than the obvious, which may be the answer, why would these judges, and especially Bo Asberg, be not wanting us to remove these people? Is there any legal basis, do you think?
I think it's suicidal empathy.
I love that term.
I don't know what else to call it. Like, what else do you call it where a thing that is obviously in the worst interest of your own country, it'd be in the worst interest of your own household, it'd be the worst interest of your own family members, but you've taken, in the military we used to say, don't mistake kindness for weakness. The left has really turned kindness into a weakness, and it's a weakness for the whole country, and they make you believe in all of it. At the end of the day, if you don't follow our laws, the argument that we should have to follow our laws to get rid of you is kind of crazy. I really love Stephen Miller getting in and using the Alien Enemies Act, which we've seen, and you hear people going, well, it's an old and outdated law, and I go, yeah, apparently so is the Constitution, you jerks. I mean, it's real straightforward. If you're going to say that there are certain powers and authorities that exist within the executive, and by the way, Congress already did this case. They wrote up that law a long time ago. There have been some Supreme Court decisions that actually back up, and I guarantee you, because Stephen Miller is a gamer, he's looked down the line. I bet he's been chomping at the bit to try this stuff out. And so they decided, we're not going to ignore the judge. We're going to say the judge does not have the authority to operate here because we followed the actual statute that exists. And they did. They went right down the line. The president issued a proclamation. There are two conditions under which you can do it. There can be either a declared enemy, which is going to be Congress has an act of war, or the other one is a predatory incursion or invasion. And so they go, yep, we've met criteria 1. We met criteria 2. The judges have already ruled in 1948. It's Ledecky. I think it's first either, is it Watson, or it might be, I'll have to look again, the name, but it's a W. And then so they basically said, yeah, once this has been done, once the president follows what they consider to be due process, those hearings are not necessarily judicial hearings. Mm-hmm. They can happen within the executive. They can be done by military tribunal. They can be done through other executive authorities. You don't get to question whether or not the due process is the process. Mm-hmm. Even with the judges who are trying to classify this stuff from Crossfire Hurricane, we can't move on until that gets corrected.
Right.
We really can.
And have a different insight and perspective on things, and you guys can decide from there what you like. I personally just love it. I feel like this is a guy. I don't drink beer, but I could sit down and have a drink of some iced tea with him, and we could kick it around the pool. I mean, some of these people when I talk to in our interviews, I really feel like I get to know them now. I feel like, we know Monica Page. I feel like I know Mark Mitchell. I feel like I know Kyle Seraphin. And it's natural. And I really like being able to talk to these guys. And I'm telling you, go watch the interview with him and Alex Jones. Now that you know some of the backstory stuff, and knowing what Alex Jones and him were talking about, it'll take on a whole different perspective. But I've never seen an interview where Alex Jones just is the quiet one on stage, and it was really, really substantial. So go ahead and check that out. So earlier, I was talking about some stuff with what's his name, RFK Jr. And it came out at 9 o'clock this morning, so they're probably already on their way to the courthouse right now. They got to sue him. There's 20,000. Oh, well, I'll let him tell you what he's doing.
Hey, everybody. I'd like to share with you a paradox that I've encountered here in Washington, D.C. as the new Secretary of HHS. Our department is filled for the most part with competent, conscientious public servants, and yet the agency has been inefficient as a whole. Over the past 4 years during the Biden administration, HHS's budget increased by 38%, and its staffing increased by 17%, but all that money has failed to improve the health of Americans. In fact, the rate of chronic disease and cancer increased dramatically as our department has grown. Our lifespan has dropped, so Americans now live 6 years shorter than Europeans. We are the sickest nation in the world, and we have the highest rate of chronic disease. The U.S. ranks last among 40 developed nations in terms of health, but we spend 2 to 3 times more per capita than those nations. As Secretary, I now understand why all this money is not improving our health. HHS is a sprawling bureaucracy that encompasses literally hundreds of departments, committees, and other offices. You know how bureaucracies work. Every time a new issue arises, they tack on another committee. This leads to tremendous waste and duplication, and worst of all, a loss of any unified sense of mission. The resulting pandemonium has injured American health and damaged department morale. When I arrived, I found that over half of our employees don't even come to work. HHS has more than 100 communications offices and more than 40 IT departments and dozens of procurement offices and 9 HR departments. In many cases, they don't even talk to each other. They're mainly operating in silos. Sometimes these sub-agencies work at cross purposes with each other. Some of these little fiefdoms, for example, are so insulated and territorial that they actually hoard our patient medical data and sell it for profit to each other. Instead of remedying the chronic disease crisis, perverse incentives have administrators checking boxes and grading their own homework while public health declines. A few isolated divisions are neglecting public health altogether and seem only accountable to the industries that they're supposed to be regulating. In one case, defiant bureaucrats impeded the Secretary's office from accessing the closely guarded databases that might reveal the dangers of certain drugs and medical interventions. I have some good news, though. As part of President Trump's DOGE workforce reduction initiative, we're going to streamline HHS to make our agency more efficient and more effective. We're going to imbue the agency with a clear sense of mission to radically improve the health of Americans and to improve agency morale. We're going to eliminate an entire alphabet soup of departments and agencies while preserving their core functions by merging them into a new organization called the Administration for a Healthy America, or AHA. We have 2 goals. The first is obvious: to save the taxpayer money by making our department more efficient. And the second is to radically improve our quality of service. I want to promise you now that we're going to do more with less. No American is going to be left behind. Our key services delivered through Medicare and Medicaid, the FDA and CDC, and other agencies will enter a new era of responsiveness and a new era of effectiveness. We're going to consolidate all of these departments and make them accountable to you, the American taxpayer, and the American patient. These goals will honor the aspirations of the vast majority of existing HHS employees who actually yearn to make America healthy. 28 great divisions will become 15. The entire federal workforce is downsizing now, so this will be a painful period for HHS as we downsize from 82,000 full-time employees to around 62,000. We're keenly focused on paring away excess administrators while increasing the number of scientists and frontline health providers so that we can do a better job for the American people. We're going to streamline our agency and eliminate the redundancies and invite everyone to align behind a simple, bold mission. I want every HHS employee to wake up every morning asking themselves, what can I do to restore American health today? I want to empower everyone in the HHS family to have a sense of purpose and pride and a sense of personal agency and responsibility to this larger goal. We're going to save taxpayers nearly $2 billion a year, and we're going to return HHS to its original commitment to public health and gold standard science. I want this agency to be once again a revered scientific institution that once made HHS the envy of the world. I want everyone who works here to be proud of this agency, to be proud of their work, to feel a renewed inspiration and their own sense of responsibility for our success in restoring America to good health. Streamlining HHS is part of a shift to new priorities, especially ending the chronic disease epidemic with clean water, safe food, effective medicine, good science, radical transparency, and a healthy environment. I think most Americans would agree with me that throwing more money at healthcare isn't going to solve the problem, or it would have solved it already. Obviously, what we've been doing hasn't worked. That's why we're making this dramatic overhaul. But the real overhaul is even bigger. The real overhaul is improving the health of the entire nation to make America healthy again.
So I wanted to let that play in its entirety. I didn't want to interrupt him because he had so much to say right there. And what's very interesting is, as soon as they heard this, as soon as the ink is dry on his signature of lopping off 22,000 jobs, these people are absolutely going to lose their minds. And I can't even, imagine calculating how many tens of millions of dollars, again, that is going to save Americans. So much money is now coming back should be coming back to the American people. And at this point, that's a lot of money. And now I saw some people here in the chat, and they're talking about what they saw. And one of the things, that I see for a couple things that people have said here is, and it's very interesting. They're saying that it's still too much. There's 65, wait a minute, let me just look. Somebody just said there's 65,000 employees at the HHS. 65,000. So he's cutting that down, actually from 85 down to 65. That's still going to be a whole lot of people. But Rome wasn't built in a day. We have to understand that is what it is, and hopefully he can get that down even further. But I wanted to show you something else that happened today that was kind of interesting. I'm dropping something here. Yeah, 22,000 people is still a lot of people. I am seeing that this government at this point doesn't want to ever cut anybody. If you get a job as a mailroom person at one of these agencies, it's a lifetime appointment. They don't seem to want to fire anybody. Once you get into a government job, you're there forever. They complain about every single person being fired. And I think this was part of the old Marxist communist want to take over, is the government is your employer. You work for the government. It's the company.
I meant to call you.
And what happened?
Focused on getting the hell out of Dodge.
Oh, okay. Well, let me know
No,
when you
go
start
ahead and
focusing
talk.
and then call me.
No, you can talk. Go ahead. You know, I'm on the interstate.
Okay, so now I got 2 more people to add to the wedding.
Cool.
The guest list. My college sisters have finally reached back out to me. Well, I mean, her mom passed, so I kind of expected the silent treatment, you know what I mean? And now,
Who is this now? Who is this?
Huh?
Who are you
What?
talking about?
This is my friend. You don't know her. She was living in Sanford, North Carolina.
Oh. Did you tell her
And
you
then
were
she
just out
moved.
there?
Yeah, I sure did. I was like, yo, how is it that you live in that podunk, boring ass town? She said, that's why I moved back to Norfolk, Virginia. So she's in Norfolk, Virginia, but oh my gosh, she was telling me about Sanford. I said, girl, that place is so damn boring. I said, we was just out there doing our counseling. So she's feeling like she won. Huh? I guess so. Yeah, they was. I told her, I said, honey, we had to drive 16 minutes from where we had to go just to get something to eat. Oh, yeah, she said it's boring as bump out there. She said she had to leave. And she's from the Bronx, so I'm like, how did you survive that? Anyway, so now, you know, she's coming together after losing her mom, and she wants to come to the wedding to support me. And babe, I think we're past 50 people already. I mean, I don't know what to do about the food, the venue. We told them 50 people, like.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to do. What do I do?
I guess you're going to have to pull the girl out in your wedding dress. Feed your friends.
Well, well, maybe some of the people that I invited won't come, like Albert. He had my brother Devon. Neither one of them confirmed.
Okay. I could have swore Albert said he was coming. I don't know where I missed that at. I just knew that was one person that I knew was going to be there.
Well, I haven't heard from him, babe. What am I supposed to do? Call him?
Do a wellness check. Could be sick. He could be sick.
I need a head count. I need to know exactly how many people are coming to this damn wedding. I'm getting all nervous now. We ain't gonna have enough nothing. Food, space. I don't know what to think. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that you should just keep on doing what you're doing. Nothing more you can do. They show. They don't.
Okay.
Just keep doing what you're doing. You got to get your invoice for the people with the flowers, and you waiting on a phone call for the best bidder for your new hotel location. That's all you need to worry about.
Yeah, I talked to Barbara today. She's going to email me the invoice after. See, I sent her a picture of my arch, and what I'm like, I don't need her. I want her to do the arch the way that I got it from the picture. So I'm waiting for her to respond to that.
Okay.
And she's going to send me an invoice after she sees my arch to see what flowers she may be able to put on that. And then we'll go from there, because I already gave her $700. I owe $1,000, and then I owe the $600 on the Airbnb, and I ain't even look at the limousine yet. This shit is costing more than I care for.
You didn't think it was going to be free, did you?
I didn't think it was going to be this much either, but it's all good. Whatever. I ain't even going to say nothing no more. I didn't pull anything out for dinner, so.
Well, we still got chicken wings.
Oh, do we?
Unless you took something to work.
I did not. I haven't eaten all day. I'm over here smacking on these mints. I haven't eaten anything.
I've been on a cup of coffee all day.
I've been on water all day.
And I ain't got no more coffee. I got an empty cup. I got a dry mouth.
Hold on.
And they'll find somebody else. Speaker Johnson is thrilled. I don't have a problem with that. I hope you guys don't have a problem with it. That sounds absolutely fine to me. I'm glad that is the case at this point. Wouldn't want her to leave. All right, so I'm gonna read some super chats here, and then I will get out of here, and we'll see you at 7 when we talk to Mark Mitchell, and I'll have a whole bunch of news for you. And then we can also talk about the executive orders that President Trump is going to sign, which undoubtedly we will have video for that tonight. So let's do this. Let me do this first, because I see one in orange here. It always lights up, and I don't want to miss this. Q, thank you very much. Here's that hundo I said I would throw you away. Take the wife out and maybe go dancing. Dancing?
Are siblings, and y'all had never met.
This man had a baby with Christian.
Found out he had another girl pregnant.
And had a baby with this woman around the same time.
2 days after you gave birth, he wanted to be back with me.
And now they're finally meeting each other.
If I wanted him, I could have him, but I don't want him.
For the very first time.
Okay, so am I lying?
And that's not all.
Oh, God.
Matt claims Tiffany was drugging him. wake up the next day not knowing what's going on, not knowing what happened. Having sex with other men while he was passed out.
No, because I would never do
but
that.
But did you tell me that? And now he's afraid their child may not be his.
There's a young child that is in the middle of this.
If Kyra's not mine, I swear to God.
I wish she wasn't, but I promise you I'm not dealing with this after today.
You ready to open this? Because this is your truth to open, not mine. Christian has a child with her ex Sheldon, but ever since he had a baby with another woman named Kiara, she feels like there's been nothing but secrets and lies. For 2 years, he's been controlling this triangle. He won't even let the two women meet. So let's first meet Christian to get her side of the story. Everyone, welcome Christian to the show. You look great.
Thank
Have a hug?
you.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice meeting you too.
Yes. Okay, so Christian, why do you say that Sheldon has been juggling you and Kiara?
It's just been a bunch of lies. We met in high school. We met in high school. We didn't hit it off. It wasn't until he got out of prison and we decided to start talking again.
Okay. This is you and Sheldon, right?
Yes. We started talking again years later. We were friends first. He decided that he wanted to go ahead and make us official. We started dating. Neither one of us had kids. We did want kids. So we wasn't using protection. We wasn't actually like trying not to have a baby. We were like, if it happens, it happens. And so over the time, once the relationship started to kind of get more serious, he hit like rock bottom a little bit and started cheating. He says I'm insecure, that I had a lot of insecurities. And I mean, I had daddy issues. Yeah. So I did have a few issues with, knowing things about men and how they treat women, but he was cheating. Yeah. Found out he was cheating on me with this girl, forgave him for it. And then towards the end of our relationship, we were back and forth. We were trying to make it work. We broke up, but we were trying. And then after I found out that he had another girl pregnant, I found out I was pregnant.
Wow. So why have you been upset about not being able to meet Kiara before today?
Because I'm not that type of person that wants drama. My son deserves the world. So he's never going to get his parents in the same household. So if he's going to be with me part-time and with him part-time, he deserves to have healthy on both ends. So, me wanting to meet her was just, here I'm his mom. If you need to call me for anything, call me. If there's any issues, call me. Like if you can't get in contact with him, call me. Because at the end of the day, this is my first baby, my only one. So I have to always make sure that he's okay, whether he's with me or he's not. Got it. So yeah.
And Kiara sometimes watches your child alone.
From my understanding, yes. Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
The very first time my son was probably 6 months. I called him like, hey, let me, see my son. He's like, oh, he's at home with her. And I'm like, okay, well, can you give me her number? He's like, no, she don't want you to have her number. She don't want to talk to you. And
he said she don't want you to have the number.
Yes. And of course that kind of made me mad. So when he did get back to the house for us to actually talk, she was like, I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to meet you. And that's my baby. She was like, as long as he's coming home safe, I don't ever have to talk to you. And he didn't say anything to go against that.
So you heard her say that?
Yeah. He was on FaceTime. So
it's interesting that she would say that. Like, and y'all had never met. Do you still have feelings for Sheldon?
No.
Okay. You don't have feelings? Not at all.
I healed. Okay. In the beginning, yes, but I healed.
You healed?
That's not something that I want to go through.
When you were in a relationship with Sheldon, did he cheat on you with Kiara?
From my understanding, yes, because she was the one that got pregnant. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. That's why there's history. Do you believe that Sheldon may still have feelings for you?
I hope not.
Okay. She said, I hope not.
I hope not. I mean, he possibly could. Sometimes he act like he does, but I try to shut that down. No.
Yeah, okay then. Do you feel like he treats you differently when he's around Kiara?
Yeah.
He does?
Yeah, definitely.
Because when y'all talk, he treats you one way. How does he treat you?
When we talk, he treats me like he'll actually have full conversation with me. So he'll be like, oh, how are you? What's going on? Like, you good? Everything's all right. When she's around, it's like nothing. Like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. he tries to make it awkward as if we don't ever like speak to each other, as if we can't have a conversation. And I don't like the confusion, so that's why I'm here.
Got it. What has Sheldon been like as a father to you?
He's a good dad.
Good child.
Financially, no. But he's there 100%. He's absolutely there. That's my baby. He's there because he wants to be a dad. So I don't take that away from him. He's a good dad.
Yeah.
It's just the way that he has this situation. It's just so much drama. It's hard for me to be able to be super active as a parent, to be able to have those conversations with him, because he's like one way, you know, when she's not there, and then another way when it's them.
My confusion, why do you think that he has not allowed you and Kiara to meet? Like, y'all are both in his lives, y'all share the show. I mean, your children are siblings. Eventually, y'all gotta all be in the same room at some point, whether it's for a graduation or something.
And you know, the crazy thing is I told him that when my son was first born. He said I'm thinking too far in the future, but I did say...
the kids hang out already.
Yeah, definitely. My son loves his brother. I said, the thing that I do not want my son to have to do is when he graduates, have to choose which side of the stadium he's gonna go to.
Yeah.
I need him to be able to go to one place, mama and daddy right here.
Yeah.
But I think that he doesn't want us to meet because he feels like that's gonna open that door for her to realize how he feels about me, and that not how I feel about him, but how he actually feels about me.
Okay, well listen, Christian, are you ready to meet Kiara for the first time? You ready?
Yes.
All right, well everyone, please welcome Kiara to the show.
Actually, I don't want to meet you.
Why?
You lie, you do too much.
Two women who got pregnant by the same man. You're getting to take care of her child and she's never met you?
Well, me and him are together.
And now they're finally meeting each other.
If I wanted him, I could have him, but I don't want him.
For the very first time.
Okay, so, am I lying? It's just been a bunch of lies. And so once the relationship started to kind of get more serious, found out he was cheating on me with this girl. We were trying to make it work. And then after I found out that he had another girl pregnant, I found out I was pregnant.
Christian, are you ready to meet Kiara for the first time?
It's nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
So I feel tension. This is your first time meeting. Where's the tension coming from?
There's no tension.
No tension?
No. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
So why has it been so long for you to actually?
Because I didn't want to meet you.
Why?
Because I don't. You lie. You do too much. Like, so I actually witnessed this.
So what is it that I do?
Everything. You play victim.
Okay.
You start stuff. Okay. You act like it's me and him. You act like it's Sheldon, but it's really you. And I didn't see the messages, and I see everything.
Our relationship during our
we didn't have no relationship. It was just me and him. I had my relationship as well when I was talking to my baby daddy. Okay. So it wasn't really no relationship. It was just like me and him meeting together, you know, doing our thing, and that was it.
So
you said she lied. What did she lie about?
Really, basically about her, like him saying that he didn't want us to meet. Actually, I didn't want to meet you. He always said, I want y'all to meet. This is maybe like 5 times.
So, but that's not what he's telling me.
What he's telling you?
He's telling me that he not ready. That he wasn't. Now he says, oh, well, to be honest with you, it's really her.
Yeah.
But I should have been a man about it.
He told me that too.
Yeah, but to be like, to start this off, first off, y'all started at the very end of our relationship while he was still trying to be with me. But did you know that he was still trying to be with me after I had my baby?
He told me that too.
Okay.
So after you had your baby, me and him was together because I was pregnant.
Okay, so am I lying?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this entire time, it's been you that doesn't want to meet her.
You're right, correct.
Yes. And so you made these allegations about like she's loud and she do too much. Please explain, what do you mean by that?
So when every time he'll try to come pick up Seven, she starts stuff. His mom has been there, seen it. His sister as well has seen it.
Okay, so let's get this straight. From the very beginning, they did not like you. They had everything to say about you. Mm-hmm. And me as a woman would be like, look, all I want is for us to have a good relationship. You are mama, so you should understand.
Of course.
How it feels to not have that relationship. I don't know how you feel about meeting the people that's around your kids, but for me, that's very important. That's my first child and my only child. Secondly, if I wanted him, I could have him, but I don't want him. I'm the one that broke up with him after we got pregnant because I spent all of those holidays with him. He spent my birthday with me. He spent Thanksgiving with me. He spent Christmas
Thanksgiving
with me.
when was this though?
2020.
Oh, 2020, that's fine. I'm not tripping about no 2020 because we weren't even together like that. So that's cool. Okay. But I don't understand, what are you talking about? He wanted to get back with you when you was pregnant, well, when you had 7?
Yeah.
We was together.
Okay, so 2 days after you gave birth, he was telling me that he wanted to be back with me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I'm going to tell the truth, because the one thing I said is if I ever said face to face with you, I was going to tell you the truth. Because y'all not going to create this narrative.
So where's this truth?
Like I'm the one. Oh, I got text messages.
Okay, I want to see him.
I'll send them. I want to see the truth. But I never wanted to create a narrative. I never wanted to have this narrative where there was drama, because my son don't deserve it. He'll never have his parents in the same household because I don't want them in.
Okay,
you good.
Okay.
I want to know a question. Your child's name is Samir, right?
Yes.
Samir, have you ever taken care of Samir?
No.
I have never taken care of him, but I have seen him. He's been in my house several times.
You said no, so you wouldn't allow her to take care of Samir or be alone?
I mean, not at this moment, no.
Okay, so do you think it's odd that you're getting to take care of her child and she's never met you?
Well, me and him are together, so it's going to be like that. He's going to come over. I'm with his dad, so of course I'm going to see him when he get him and stuff like that.
Well, she told me from the beginning that he wasn't at home one of the times when Christian called, that you had the baby at the house by yourself.
Yes, I was with my other 3 children. Yes.
Okay.
And that was it. And then he called me. He was like, "She calling me. I guess you was drunk. You was on the phone. I guess with your cousins and stuff like that. Like it was like she was about to come beat me up. I'm 6 months pregnant. I don't want to talk to you."
That's a lie.
Really, it's a lie. I heard you.
Did you threaten her, try to beat her up when she was pregnant?
First and foremost,
come to the door, come do this, come do that.
How? When I don't even know where y'all was.
You do.
I
You did know where we stayed.
No, I did not.
Christian,
because he would not allow me to know where y'all stayed.
So, Christian, you're saying that you don't know where Kiara lives?
Now I do, yeah. But it took him getting attacked by a dog for him to finally tell me, because I had to come get my son.
How? You used to drop 7 off at our apartment.
Was there ever a time that you said, "I do not want her to have the address"?
Yeah.
Okay, so he respected that and decided that he wasn't going to tell me.
But why wouldn't you want her to know where the baby was?
Right.
Well, we had just moved.
I'm going to ask you point blank, because I hear how this relationship overlapped. Did you have insecurities about him leaving you for her?
No.
Don't lie, because he said that you did.
No.
He said that your first baby daddy left you. And
my first baby daddy left
your
me.
first baby daddy wanted to know. He said that your first baby daddy wanted to go back with you. This is after my son was born. Okay. He said, but he did not want to he would not do you like that. He did not want to leave you and put you in that position to have to go through what you went through the first time.
The part didn't fit, so I gotta go to the post office. I'm gonna find one around here. Get in line, send this goddamn part back. Oh, that's FedEx, isn't that? Let me see what that say. Where'd it go? I think it's FedEx. Yes. Oh, I gotta find a FedEx place. That's what I gotta. We gotta go to FedEx, guys. Drop this mofo off. FedEx. Nearest me. FED. Oh, okay, right there. Let's go. Pull out. Hey, right over there. Boom! This car got its own GPS, can find anything. Drop this box off. Try it again. I see the difference in Sears. See, look right up Sears. And I'm gonna put it right on them too. I saw that shit. All right, take a look. This is like old Atlanta. This is east of the airport, not south, but east of the Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport. About 15-20 minutes east of the airport. It's old Atlanta, black oriented. Most people here are African American. There's certain areas in Atlanta that have different ethnicities. This is one of the last towns that I would say is predominantly African American, because Chamblee, Tucker used to be white and African American. Now it's all Asian, Korean, Japanese. Decatur and parts of Stone Mountain used to be all black. Now there are African, Nigerian, and Cameroon. Then you got Duluth, Georgia. Go see me fast. Duluth, Georgia is also Asian. What else has changed? What the hell? These people be on their phone too goddamn much. Then you got mostly predominantly south of the airport is African American. Jonesboro, Morrow, like I said, Jonesboro, Fayetteville, places like, oh, I gotta keep straight. Gotta keep straight. You're going south. Okay, next. Just up out there. What's that up? Riverdale, that's all black. What I'm missing? Not Doraville is Asian. Midtown Atlanta is, you name it, the different, not necessarily different ethnicities, but they are different ethnicities, but they are they are that alternate culture. I mean, they about mostly rainbows in downtown Atlanta. It used to be the place to be, but Atlanta is all rainbow. Whatever color you want to be, that's where the rainbow people live. No matter what ethnicity they are, they're rainbow. Who else up there? Stockbridge, black and African American. Woodstock, predominantly white. Who I'm missing? Conyers is African American. And what else? Oh, they hot out this motherfucker. It depends on what part of town you want to live in. Lawrenceville is Mexican and illegals. But down here in Morrow, it's black folk. All black folk. Man, the cops don't have this mofo. Get off here at Mount Zion Boulevard. This motherfucker off. And okay, we're back. I'm in Morrow off Mount Zion Road. Been a long day. The way, get off the cell phones. Black people and cell phones. My God, what's wrong with y'all? Okay, what's next? Straight down here, turn right. There's a FedEx building. See it? There it is, FedEx office right there. And watch the motherfucker be closed. Don't pull out my dick, I'll get hurt. Okay. Parking over here is fucking ridiculous. Got to go all the way around just to do this. Let's see here. It should be open. Yeah, I'm in the back trying to hide. That's what it is.